The Atlanta Braves winning streak comes to an end with a pretty pathetic 6-2 loss to Miami on Friday night. Let's talk about it.
This is the Braves Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Atlanta Braves. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into the Braves Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your Atlanta sports teams each and every day. I'm your host, Lindsay Crosby, author of the Braves Today newsletter over at bravestoday.com. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. Jake Mastriani's still on vacation, and honestly, I'm kind of glad that he is, because he probably did not have to watch Atlanta's 6-2 loss to Miami today. We're going to talk about the debut of Didier Fuentes and how he struggled a little bit, but there's some things to build off of. And this loss ultimately is not on him, because we've got to talk about the Braves offense. Atlanta scores 2 runs on 8 hits, and it just never really felt like Atlanta's bats were ever going to come through. And I don't know how many times we've said that this season, that Atlanta is just out there. It almost kind of felt like they were going through the motions, right? Ronald Acuna Jr. Had another good game. He goes 2 for 4. He was actually getting pitches to hit from Miami, which is nice. Matt Olson goes 1 for 4, drives a run in. But for the most part, you don't get a lot of other contributions from just about anybody else. And even when you do get some quality batted balls and some quality hits, Austin Riley hits a home run. He does it in the 8th inning when you're already down 6-1. Marcell Ozuna hits a double that would have been a home run, but is taken from over the wall. It's not an out. I think the pessimist can complain that ball was not a home run. The optimist can point out that wasn't robbed. It wasn't an out. He was on second base. And then Michael Harris actually gets a quality hit, ambushes a first pitch, launches it to right field, but he hits it to the exact spot where the bullpen is, where the wall is higher, and it hits the very top of the wall and comes back into play for a double. And a little bit of, I guess, bad luck there, but also just not really great at bats for the Braves. And you saw a couple guys. Ozzie Albies 0 for 4 in this one, continues that kind of slump he's had there. Nick Allen 0 for 3. I initially had Austin Riley in that same group as far as hitless today until he gets that garbage time home run. I was reading something today about how a lot of his production has come in lower leverage situations. And I think being down 6-1 in the 8th inning is a pretty low leverage situation. Just a scenario where the offense was not that good. And, we talked about this a little bit in the Mets series, right? I tried to point out a little bit where, hey, Atlanta, let's say Wednesday in the win, they didn't have any hits with runners in scoring position, right? They got 2 runs off of miscues by the catcher. And on Thursday, they scored, I think, 7 runs, but 5 of them came off of walks from the Mets. The Mets walked the season-high 9 players. And Hunter in the chats kind of put in it the way that I tried to word it there is, we didn't beat the Mets. They kind of beat themselves in that series. And I was trying to point out that the offense had to be better. And they got a lot of help from the opposing team. They got a lot of help from the pitching staff, which was phenomenal. Really, the whole entire homestand, with the exception of game 1 and Bryce Elder's struggles there. Outside of that, they did well in the entire homestand. And today, when you have a more normal pitching performance, and again, we're going to get to Didier Fuentes in a few minutes, but when you get to a more normal pitching performance, Atlanta's offense was just not good enough to keep them in this game. It's a little bit frustrating to sweep the Mets and then lose game 1 to the Marlins, who are now 30-44. You thought Atlanta was not doing well. Miami is obviously significant. I actually say significantly worse. I just looked. It's only 4 games different. Atlanta is 34-40. Miami is 30-44. It's only 4 games different. And I didn't realize until just this second how close those 2 teams were, which is an indictment of the Atlanta Braves offense this season. Because it's really hard to put this loss on anybody else, right? Didier Fuentes making his first career start. He wasn't great. 4 earned runs in 5 innings. Most of that comes on a 3-run home run. But the loss isn't on him. The loss isn't on the bullpen letting them add on late, right? You have 2 runs charged to Aaron Bummer. It's not on him either. This is really on the Braves offense. They even got some of the hits with runners in scoring position, but only 2 of them. They were 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position. And I think if they had gotten some of those homers, that would have helped obviously score a little bit of runs and do some stuff there. But Atlanta just had so many opportunities to drive guys in and didn't do it. That's kind of been the story of this year, right? Is the Braves having opportunities on offense and just not being able to capitalize on those. It was even a quiet day for Ronald Acuna Jr., although he does steal a base. And this was not just doing something where like he was trying to be in motion to avoid a double play. He legitimately stole a bag that he honestly didn't need to steal. It almost felt like he just wanted to see, can I do it? So obviously, there you go. Ronald stealing is a positive to take out of this, but you kind of lose a lot of the momentum that you build in that series, especially with the offense. And you kind of saw against, I mean, I understand. I know they're facing one of the best pitchers in baseball in Jansen Junk, but 1 run, 5 innings, 5 hits, 1 run. Here's the other thing that frustrates me. I know that we didn't like the push from Tim Hires for these guys to be more patient, to take more pitches, and to do more like that. The Braves didn't draw a single walk today against the Miami Marlins. And that should never happen. I know Atlanta only struck out 6 times, but again, they didn't draw a single walk against this pitching staff. And not only did they not do that, they scored 1 run off of Jansen Junk and 1 run off of Pena, who's I can't even remember his first name. That's how forgettable he is. He has an ERA of 9. Robinson Pena, ERA of 9, making his debut. Just the thing that Atlanta kept doing, and shout out to Josh here in the chat for pointing it out. I was about to get to there. Is I felt like every Braves hitter was just behind. They were behind on everything. You look at Jansen Junk, he's throwing 94 miles an hour was his average. Atlanta fouls off 8 fastballs of his. Atlanta fouls off 9 sliders. They foul off 8 more sweepers. They had 27 foul balls today. It just doesn't make a lot. Like, they only whiffed 8 times. They weren't outright swinging and missing. They just couldn't get the ball in play. They had 15 balls in play. They had 27 foul balls. I just don't understand what is wrong with this offense. I know I've been complaining about it pretty much all season now, and I know that Jake and Grant did it all season last year. Part of me was hoping that after the Mets series, we were going to start to see this offense be better more consistently. The issues that I saw that I was concerned about in the Mets series obviously came back. All right, in just a second, I want to talk about the decision to start Didier Fuentes because not everybody was down with it. Some people are blaming him for the loss. I don't think he was that bad. He wasn't good, but he wasn't bad. We'll break it down next, right here on the Braves Postcast. Have you ever been traveling through South Florida and you said, you know what? My favorite team's on a winning streak. I'm going to pop into Lone Depot Park and watch them continue that winning streak. Oh, you didn't say that? That's probably the reason Atlanta lost today. It's your fault. But the people who did, thank you for using Game Time to do it, because Game Time's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress, because they make buying tickets fast and simple. prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch, especially when the ballpark's as empty as this. They've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. Like, you can see exactly what your seat's going to look like, and more importantly, see how many open seats are going to be between you and the field so you can move down in the third inning. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Remember, if you're in Miami and you don't do this, you're the reason the Braves lost today. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Not everybody's happy with the decision to start Didier Fuentes in this one. And again, I don't think he was that bad. The overall stats, I know. 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 4 runs, 1 walk to 3 strikeouts. Gave up the home run. But when you look at what actually happened, what he actually did, almost all of his troubles, first and second inning, right? And actually, scratch that. First inning, he gets through. There's a throw-in error from Austin Riley. I can't believe the Truist Park grounds crew would do that to Austin Riley in Miami. But after that, the second inning, Kyle Stowers leadoff double. It's a first pitch fastball that is honestly dotted up and away. That's just a very good piece of hitting by Kyle Stowers. He gets Dane Myers to strike out swinging. And then Liam Hicks hits an RBI single. That was a mistake by Fuentes. It's a 1-1 count, and he throws him a center cut fastball. Good, 97 miles an hour, good velocity on it. But he throws him a fastball right down the middle of the plate. Single, mistake there by Fuentes. And then later on, the home run to Augustin Ramirez. That was another, you see rookies make this mistake a lot. Just first pitch, get me over curveball, not exactly dead hard of the plate, but inside, right there by it. And he launches it, just destroys that ball. 112 miles an hour, 436 feet. If you don't want your homers to get robbed, just crush it like Augustin Ramirez did. But after that, Fuentes settles in pretty well. And if you watch what he did, what I'm excited about from this start from Didier Fuentes is you knew going in he was going to throw a lot of fastballs. I honestly expected Fuentes to be almost predominantly fastball slider. He actually threw, a lot of curveballs, flashed 1 splitter in this one as well. But despite them knowing he was going to be throwing the fastball, they swung at 28 of them. They whiffed on 6 of them. They fouled 10 of them off. They only put 12 into play. He averaged 96 on it. He touched 98. He finished with 9 whiffs, 28% CSW. And I think that he showed that, yes, he's making some rookie mistakes. You have to remember, he's only 20 years old, and he turned 20 on Tuesday. So it's not like he's been, starting for a decade and he knows all of the tips and tricks. I mean, if he was in college, he wouldn't even be draft eligible yet. He'd be going into his sophomore year of college, and he started in the majors. But I think that what he showed, the stuff is good. The locations, for the most part, not entirely, but for the most part, were good. There's something to build off of here. And if you look at the list of guys that Atlanta has shot through the minors and called to the majors really early, for the most part, it's guys that are pretty good arms. It's Spencer Strider. It's Spencer Schwellenbach. It's AJ Smith-Shawver. And now it's Didier Fuentes. I feel like, I don't know. I don't think they're going to put him in the bullpen right now. I think they're going to send him back to Gwinnett, let him stay down there for a little bit and keep working on stuff. But he's not the reason Atlanta lost. You probably could criticize the decision to call up someone to start so that you could push the big 3 back to get them in the Mets series again. That's probably a more valid conversation than saying Didier Fuentes is the reason that they lost. Now, outside of that, Aaron Bummer pitched okay. He did give up 2 runs, 1 hit, 3 walks. A little bit of poor control. We don't always see him being quite that bad when it comes to that. But outside of that, Pierce Johnson, 2 hits, but 2 strikeouts. He gets out of it. Dylan Dodd pitches a scoreless 8th inning. Bullpen was fine for the most part. The issues here, again, the issues here are the offense. The issue here was some weird defensive stuff from Alex Verdugo in left field. I'm kind of at the point where I'm ready to just have Eli White play every day until Jurickson Profar's back, which, by the way, if you missed what Jurickson Profar did today, I think he went 4 for 5 with 2 solo homers in Gwinnett. In his 4 games he's played in Gwinnett so far, he's batting .529 with an OPS of 1491. He can't come back until July 2nd, right? They can't bring him back early. But at the end of the day, Atlanta did still make up ground this week. They're 8-3 in the last 11. They won 3 straight series. They had their second sweep of the year. You still have a chance to win this series. And then you get to go up against the Mets again, who you just swept in their ballpark next week with the same pitchers who all did really well against them. So yes, this game sucks. This game was annoying, frustrating, embarrassing. It means a ton to me that 145 of you guys are here right now listening to me rant about this, right? It's our little therapy session. Atlanta wasn't good enough to win today, but at the end of the day, they still have the talent to do better. And there's reason to think Matt Olson has been fantastic in the last month. He doesn't get nearly enough credit. Ronald Acuna Jr. has been the best player in baseball since he's been back. And if you can get 1 or 2 of these other guys with the impressive baseball cards to start playing like their contracts, to start playing like their baseball card numbers, you have everything you need to still be competitive again. And it's just a question of, does it happen or not? Tomorrow, Grant Holmes versus Yuri Perez. That game is at 4:10. Heads up, it is not a night game. 4:10. We will be back with the postcast after that. But again, Braves 2, Marlins 6, dropping game 1 of the series. The loss does go to Didier Fuentes. He is now 0-1, 7.20 ERA on the season. You guys, flush this, get some rest. We're going to come back tomorrow. Atlanta is absolutely going to be in a position. It is Grant Holmes versus Yuri Perez. Perez has only made a couple starts since coming back from Tommy John. He has not looked very good at all. You absolutely are in a situation where you can win tomorrow, and then you're in position, Bryce Elder versus a struggling Sandy Alcantara, to win the series on Sunday. And shout out to Paige in the chat. The Mets lost again. So they have lost now 7 in a row. They are going to be completely demoralized and beaten by the time we get back to face them next week. Do me a favor. If you're listening on audio, leave a 5-star review, Apple, Spotify, YouTube Music. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to both Locked On Braves and Locked On Sports Atlanta. Hit the notification bell so you know when we go live to talk about whether it's the Braves, the Hawks, the Falcons, Jake's episodes of Locked On Braves. He's back next week. Should be back on the postcast with me on Monday and have episodes for you all week next week. Until next time, this has been the Braves Postcast.